Hi, welcome to Mama's Natural. I'm your host, Rusty Red. Today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about daily pillars. So when I became a first-time mom, it was my son, and it was February, like mid-February, when I gave birth to him. I deal with seasonal depression, so starting usually January, peaking in February, and tapering off towards the end of March, depending on when the sun starts to show itself, is usually when I deal with that. So between that and the depletion of nutrients from giving birth, the serotonin dump, and iron problems, I had anemia really bad with him, just because of I'm someone who deals with anemia anyway. And then when I gave birth to him, I bled pretty bad. I had a severe tear and bled, and so I lost a lot of iron that way, and it was hard for me to get it back. Then add in that my son had colic and reflux, and I had a little bit of supply issues at the beginning of our breastfeeding journey, and I had latch problems as well with my son. So between me having weren't exactly completely flat nipples, but there was just some issues. It's hard to explain with where he was unable to latch very well, so I had to start off using a nipple shield to have any kind of breastfeeding journey with him at all. Later on, we were able to wean off of that shield when he got a little bit bigger and was able to discover how to latch properly. So we did have that going, but in all of this, I was hitting like rock bottom 2 weeks after he was born. And the main thing that I think impacted me the most was when one of my friends that had already had her second child by this time came over and was helping me. And I remember her saying that, you know, your frustration with everything is so palpable. And it just, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know where to go. And I was questioning everything, and I felt like I was getting nothing done, because when you have your first child, you don't really understand how impossible it is to get things done. When you go to the second child, you've already got an idea. It's just harder to get things done, but you have the concept. The base concept is there of what it's kind of going to be like. So with a first-time mom, it's so shocking that, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that, I don't know how to pull this off. How do I manage to do this while the baby's crying? And so the concept that my friend brought to me was daily pillars. And the idea with daily pillars is you go through your day and you pick, so like for a newborn, here's an example, 3 daily pillars. The 3 daily pillars that I chose for myself was self-care, so like washing my face, get a shower if I need, brush my hair, teeth, makeup, just stuff that freshened myself up. When you have a newborn, that's like one of the first things that you just kind of falls to the wayside. Most everything that you would normally do falls to the wayside. And it's important that you do a couple of basic things every day to give you a feeling of fulfillment at the end of the day. And these daily pillars, the purpose of them is to have at the very beginning, starting out with like just 3 items. 3 items that you tell yourself, I will achieve these somehow today. And if I achieve nothing else, that's fine. I've achieved what I set out to achieve for the day. Anything above and beyond that is a bonus. And if I just don't get anything else done, that's fine. And if I don't get any of these done, then I reevaluate for the next day. Was it just the day was just a rough day, or is it consistently I'm not meeting those goals? And if you're consistently not meeting those pillars, then you need to reevaluate what pillars you have selected. And so, like, for me, for my newborn phase, I chose the self-care for my first one. My second one was 15 to 30 minutes outside or exercising every day. And if you can get outside, then you kind of get both of them. You can walk around the yard or go for a walk down the road. If the weather's just really bad, I would try to get at least 2 minutes stepping outside the door, even with baby. Bundle baby up and hold them to your chest really good. And then just step out. That fresh air is so important. So some sort of fresh air and exercise every day. And then number 3 was 15 to 30 minutes away from the baby. If that meant husband was holding the baby and I just went and just sat in my bedroom and cried, then that's what I did. Or if I needed to get a quick shower in and I needed to take 30 minutes to do that, or whatever I needed to get done. And so those were my first daily pillars, and I needed to make sure I got those in every day. Then when he hit like the 6-month stage, and it was a lot easier for me to say put him in a bouncer or give him tummy time on the floor a little bit more, and I could actually set him down and kind of walk away, and he was at that age where he was like, oh hey, what's this, what's that, engaging with his environment, that gives you a little bit more freedom to get away. And so then I added a 4th pillar, and so that included self-care, the 15 to 30 minutes of exercise a day. I think upped that to straight 30 minutes. I just told myself you have to get 30 minutes. If that 30 minutes also includes, they have really fun indoor video, exercise videos that you can find on YouTube for mama with baby. And so you could baby wear while you do this exercise, or they have ones where you lay on the floor and you just do push-ups. You push your baby up in the air, and that's some of your exercise. And they have really fun ones that you can do so that if your baby is just needing extra attention, you can still get your exercise while incorporating the baby. And then my 3rd one was 15 to 30 minutes, again, away from baby. And number 4 was make 1 homemade nutritious meal a day. Now, for me, I'm looking back on the 15 to 30 minutes away from baby. This was with my son, who had colic and reflux and a lot of other challenges going on that made it harder for me to be away from him and harder for him to accept me being away from him. So I was one of the only people that could soothe him most of the time. So this was grasping at straws for me to get this 15 to 30 minutes. Now with my daughter, 15 to 30 minutes was no problem. So I actually changed that one with my daughter to an hour. She was a whole lot easier going, a whole lot more laid back, so much more content with daddy holding her, because she wasn't struggling with a lot of the same discomfort issues. And when a baby is uncomfortable, they really kind of only want mama, and that just makes it all the more harder. So you got to make it realistic to what you're dealing with your baby. So with 6 months, I had self-care, 30 minutes outside, 15 to 30 minutes away from baby, and 1 nutritious meal every day. Even if it was just I threw a salad together. Whatever you can realistically easily pull off. And you, again, have to mold this to your situation with your home and what you think you can actually achieve. Because the goal of these is not to just set goals and be like, I gotta figure out how to get these done. It's to set realistic goals for yourself that you can achieve every day and feel successful by the end of the day. Then when he hit 1 to 2 years old, again, I'm keeping that self-care on there, because that's like one of the first things that we lose as mamas, is we are the last one on our list to take care of. Our husbands' needs are even typically above ours at this point. Because, if they're working and if you're a stay-at-home mom, you try to get their food ready and take care of lunches and have supper ready for them, have the house tidy. And it seems like it's easier for everybody to let their own needs go first and then take care of everybody else before themselves. So the self-care is a guarantee that I will get some basic needs of mine met. And then 2 was I upped it to an hour outside of exercise every day. And at this point, when they're 1 to 2 years old, you can bundle them up and take them out. So with a newborn, it's a little harder to get them out when it's really cold outside, or if it's like super sunny outside and it can be a little difficult. So at 1 to 2 years old, it's a little bit easier to get them outside with you. And then, of course, 30 minutes away from him. And my daughter just hit a year old, so my daily pillar is I'm leaving it at an hour away from her. Asking more than an hour is difficult during the week, just because then as soon as my husband gets home, he's stuck with the kids the rest of the evening. So I try to stick it to an hour a day away from my kids. And then make 1 homemade nutritious meal. And then my 5th one that I add for when they're 1 to 2 years old is 10 minutes of education time for the child. And this could be anything from shapes and numbers to helping you do laundry and cook. This is more than just letting your kid just sit there by themselves and explore blocks and stuff, and you mindlessly kind of handing them the next toy while you're half dozed. this is dedicated time of me, like, this is the color green or red, and and teaching them words and things like that. My son, with his autism, usually with autistic kids, you usually have where they struggle in areas, and then oftentimes they can be advanced in other areas. And with my son, he was very advanced linguistically, and he is kind of super intelligent when it comes to processing and figuring out things for the most part. So it was really easy for him at 1 year old. He had learned how to I could tell him, can you go get me the sock? And he'd bring me the sock, and he would even say the word. And so that was kind of part of his education time. While I was doing laundry, I was teaching him the words of the different clothing articles. Whereas like my daughter, she is not there yet. She's just got mama and dada, and she's kind of, I think, learning cat. So for her, it's kind of just more teaching her just basic colors or some very basic first words. And, for my son, I involved him in cooking at 1 year old. So I put up a stool in front of the stove, and of course I stood right there and held, my arm around his waist while he stirred, and I usually took his hand at first and would teach him how to stirring his own hand, but things like that. So going back, I digress again. So really it comes down to pillars. Pick your daily pillars, and I'm still using pillars even now when he's 3 years old. And I think it's something that we should have even if we're hardworking non-parents. Pillars are very important. These are just the basic things you have to have in order to feel successful. And sometimes you could even, if you think your pillars are going to change frequently, have a daily pillar sheet that you have in the morning and just have it on a clipboard, and each day you fill out a new one. So first thing in the morning while you're eating breakfast, okay, what would make me feel accomplished today that I can realistically get done? And write those down real quick. And so pillars. Every foundation or structure has to have a foundation or pillars to it, and this is it. Pick your few things, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, however many you think you can realistically get done. And again, make them realistic. Realistic is the key. I could set a goal for myself that I want to have 2 hours to myself every day, but that I know that is not a realistic thing. So, pillars. Set them up for yourself and try to let the other things just go. If you don't achieve beyond your pillars, it's okay. And of course, the pillars is assuming this is obviously beyond basic survival care. Your kid obviously has to be fed, diapers changed, that stuff. So this is beyond those necessities. So take some time, fill out a pillar sheet, and try it, and in the comments below, let me know if you tried this and if you've started seeing a difference. It can take like a week or two before you really start to feel, I actually feel like I'm consistently being successful every day. Or you might feel it the first day. So let me know, how has this worked for you if you've tried something like this? Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.